We're good. All right, welcome. Would you like to do the honors of the call to, or the roll call? I call the meeting to order at 7:02. Jeff, would you like to do roll call?
Sure. Chairperson Dolman,
Present.
Vice Chair Shakar,
See him today.
Stephanie Canuli,
Here.
Kayla DeSauln,
Here.
Jeannie Donovan,
Here.
Aaron Adele,
Here.
Jeff Guido,
Here.
Pooja Kumari,
Here.
Ann Lunt, and Kyle Livy both said they would not be here. And then Tara Westfall.
Here. Excellent, thank you.
We have a quorum.
Excellent, thank you. Before we head into public comment, which we have a couple folks here, I'm excited. I just want to say welcome back to Jeff. Jeff is our staff liaison. He was with us for, I don't know, years, 2, 3 years. And then Zach came in and did a great job. And then Jeff's going to fill in until the new economic development manager is onboarded. And then we'll get that new person and we'll wrap them around, our arms around them. So thank you, Jeff, for being here and prepping us for the meeting. So I appreciate it. Okay, now it's time for public comment. Members of the public may speak on any item not on the agenda, but within the commission scope during this public comment section of the meeting. And we have a couple of visitors here today. Is there anything that you'd like to say? Do you want to introduce yourself? You can step up to the mic and just turn it on.
My name's Steve Weiss. Hello, everybody. I'm the Vice Chair of the Traffic and Safety Commission, and I'm here to listen about e-bikes and what's going on with that. So I'm just here and thank you for having me.
Thank you. Rita, anything that you want to make a public comment on? No? Okay. Patrick, come on up.
Thanks. So I saw the Pleasant Hill Library on the agenda, so I'm going to hang out for that bit as well. But I did want to plug an upcoming event that's at the library that I'm really, really excited about. We're having some Aztec dancers coming as part of our Heritage Celebration for September and October. And it's on next Tuesday, September 30th. I'm going to pass around a couple copies of this if you wanted to take one with you and share. Every Tuesday night at the Pleasant Hill Library, we have family programming. And depending on what Tuesday it is, it might be crafts, it might be a puppet show, it might be magic, or bats are coming in October. So yeah, you can always spread the word that there's enrichment and entertainment every Tuesday night at the library, typically starting at 6:30 until we close at 8. So thanks for that.
Thank you, Patrick. And I'd love for you to engage with us in the library discussion that we'll have later tonight. So, excellent. Okay, the next order of business is to approve the minutes for the meeting of August 28th. So Jeff, so gently place them in front of us, and then there's some at the back if anybody would like to look at that. I will give just 30 seconds to a minute. Is there any changes that people know about? I have not had a chance to look at them. Great. This looks good to me.
I make a motion to approve the minutes for August 28th.
I second.
Okay. Canuli seconds, and all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? None heard. Motion passes. The meeting minutes are approved. Okay, so because we have Patrick here and we have e-bikes here, I'm gonna do a little bit of rearranging of the schedule to allow these guys to exit if they want. Let's start with library, and then we're gonna kind of rearrange. We're gonna go library, e-bikes, magazine. 1, 2, 3. So 6, 7, 5. Okay. So on the agenda, we're gonna do number 6, which is the library, then number 7, e-bikes, and then number 5, we'll go back to the magazine. Does that sound okay? You guys can get home if you'd like. Okay, so library, and one of the things that we wanted to talk, this is just a discussion. This got brought up last month when Patrick started to talk about it, and I wanted to just see, we'd kind of talked last month about going to your schools and finding out what's happening with the libraries, what's going on. And so I thought we would maybe start the discussion of like, what's happening at your libraries? Do they need extra support? What does that look like? You know, how can the library get involved? Or to me, the discussion today was more like, what do you know is going on? What are people's solutions to losing the librarian? So we can have those discussions with our schools, partly because it's a really nice, I know the library is technically a county resource, right? But our city library, our library in the city is amazing. And so I think we have this really unique piece here with Patrick's being so engaged, a brand new building, all that stuff that gives us a little bit of a unique connection. So I know I asked my school, I don't know if anybody else knows what's going on at their school or any ideas. So really just a discussion. I don't anticipate action items other than maybe going to do more research or something like that. But there's, I don't expect something to like come out of this today, but more discussion.
I have not connected with my school about this yet, but I think sometimes when we do go to the schools, if we don't have a idea of what we can do, then it's just kind of like, well, what do you mean? Well, are you saying that you can just give me, it's like, so it would be good before, if we haven't, to have a good idea of like, what, if anything, do we have already that we know of that we can do, and then maybe grow from there.
Patrick, do you want to talk quickly about what you gave us a link, or you gave me a link? I haven't sent it out, but we certainly can. But you had talked a little bit about a good teacher principal page, landing page. Is that?
Yeah, it's a landing page. You can send anybody to that page. And it talks about our strategic commitment to getting into the schools and connecting all of our schools to the public resources at the library. And there's a form that you can fill out that says, and you don't have to be a teacher to do it. I've received them from PTA folks and other parents. There's all kinds of things you can put in there, but you're basically requesting some kind of visit, or you can arrange a visit to the library, or you can arrange a visit from a librarian, and you can ask for, a story time for kindergarten age kids, or you can say, hey, I've got a 5th grade class that's doing a research project. We want to know how to, construct, advanced searches to do research. There's other kinds of information literacy, right, that the library can offer. It used to be usually conducted by the school librarians, and that unfortunately now falls to the teachers, hopefully to fold into their curriculum. But yeah, they can fill out that form and it gets sent to my staff, and we reach out and try to arrange a way to meet those needs. On the side, I'm always trying to connect or reconnect with the schools, and especially the librarians. They're oftentimes, my key into a school, and we connect on that. But there's turnover on both sides, the library and in the schools, and so it's a constant effort, right, to stay engaged and to meet the evolving needs at the schools.
So I'm in new territories because we switched up some schools.
Yeah.
So my school is the only one that technically sits in Martinez. So how does that change anything?
No. So the beauty of the landing page, so you're talking about Hidden Valley?
Yes.
Yeah. So Hidden Valley, because it is really between us two, we coordinate, the Martinez Library staff and myself will. I think probably 50% of the students there are Pleasant Hill families, right? And so I've done many trips to Hidden Valley over the years, and we've folded them into our citywide read when we used to do that pretty frequently. And so I'm always excited to get out to them if I'm invited. And if I'm not able to, or they'd if it makes sense, the Martinez staff can come out and do that visit. But key is, we want everybody to have their library card. We want them to know what all those resources are, and have the parents and the faculty empowered as well to, go to the website and explore and figure out what the library can offer them. So one way or another, we'll do it. And that landing page is not specific just to me. So if you say, Pleasant Hill Library, you say Martinez Library, you say anybody, we'll sort it out on our end. Yeah.
Nice. Thank you. That was a great refresher of like, okay, I know that this page exists. What is it for again?
Yeah.
Anybody else know or what their libraries are doing? Any concerns, any questions? Patrick probably knows our school library systems better than we do.
Well, I'm close to many of the librarians, but like I said, there's new faces that I haven't had a chance to really connect with. And sometimes those librarians move around in the district and I know them from their Pleasant Hill days and now they've moved on. But one thing that I will say, that a pattern that I have noticed and is so obviously since the pandemic, we don't have any school librarians in the middle school or high school. There's a library tech at College Park. I think they're actually trying to rehire or fill a vacant position for a library tech there, which is not a school media librarian or specialist. And the middle schools do not have a full-time librarian. And it's the elementary schools that still have that staff. During the pandemic, things were shuffled and they prioritized staffing the elementary schools, right? But I think even in our elementary schools where they have a really experienced librarian on staff, oftentimes classes only get to go in to the library like once a week. There's probably just enough time for them to get in there, return books, find some books on the shelf, and that's pretty much it, right? And of course, those librarians rely really heavily on parent volunteers to do shelving and accession new books and things like that. And depending on what the priorities are for that site and the robustness of the PTA, there may not be much of a budget at all for books. And I think this is the unfortunate pattern that we saw at the middle school level, which is like when your book budget is so restricted that your collections just basically die over time, right? You're really not watering your garden. Then it's sort of like, well, why are we paying for a librarian when there's no books here, right? And of course, librarians can do many, many things, but it's very easy to look at a dingy, old room that has books that are no longer current, no longer useful. And you're like, oh, what are we doing here, right? So I think I do not want to see that happen anywhere. I think for as strong of a city library as we have in the library that I run, like there's just no competition, right? To like having a school library that has a wonderful collection, right? That you can access all day, every day, where your kids are. I have to fight to get out to every family, right? But they're already there in all the schools. And so that's why it's so important to me to make sure that our school libraries are lifted up, because I can't connect with every kid the way that the schools can. So yeah, I look forward to figuring out how we can lift everybody up. One of the ways that we have done this in the past, recognizing that not every school library has a sufficient book budget, is mobilizing our friends at the library who receive wonderful, like new donations all day long, every day at 3 spots. And they have generously offered to let school librarians or teachers even come in, look at their inventory before they put it on sale, and just take away stuff for free. And we're figuring out a way to potentially streamline that further, where we can basically give them an online coupon and they can like go to the Friends bookshop online, fill a cart of books, and we could even potentially deliver it to them. They still have to add it to their collections, and I don't want to wade into the processes that might be at the school level as far as like how they select and all that. But these are the kinds of creative stretch goals that I have to try to continue to keep our library strong, because I know a lot of the librarians out there. They're wonderful, talented life-changing folks, and they deserve that support and extra resources.
Thank you. Any questions or thoughts? Maybe you have had discussions at your schools. Maybe you're like, oh yeah, we kind of talked about it last week, or last month, but I didn't connect, or any burning questions that you might have.
So Patrick, I was at Sequoia Middle School at a meeting in the library there,
Yeah.
and I was looking around the room, and there are a ton of books in there on the
wonderful.
shelves. And I mean, I was really, really impressed with just the number of books that were on the shelves. And then I found out that they no longer had a librarian.
Mhm.
So there it sits.
Mhm.
And it was really, really disheartening because kids don't have access to these books.
Yeah.
And then I understood that the elementary level still had librarians, but not at the secondary level. So what can we do? I mean, those books are just sitting there.
I can tell you what PHMS did, because I had the same, we kind of had chatted, and so PHMS has I believe, I don't know if it's district funded or PTA funded, but they have a media, an instructional assistant who essentially, can't remember the specific name, but they have someone who does it during, I think, their lunches and their passing periods, like the library's used as a gathering place for a lot of kids for activities, some indoor activities. And then they can also check books out, is my understanding. And they're looking at improving their collection by working with one of the librarians to kind of get the titles and, kind of figure out what to order, because they have a library budget, a small one, to add to their collection, but they do have a way to go in and out. So I don't know what all schools might be doing, but they have an IA essentially that works part-time to give kids access to the library.
Right. So I bring this up because as an education commission, what can we do
Mhm.
to help with this situation?
Well, it seems like there is flow of books at the elementary level, right? And so you pointed to a process of there being some sort of throughput for the secondary level, for PHMS.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess we need to identify the problem at the elementary level, and then and if there is a problem at the middle school level, and maybe again at the high school level, because there are going to be different dynamics and different
Well-
needs.
Well, there is a problem I think at the middle school level, and I know you may have seen it too, because you're at the middle school, but it just sits there.
Right, but I think what you're trying to say is that there is a process that's being in place, even if there is no librarian, there is a method and a way for students to get access to books. And it should be established if that is also present at Valley View and Sequoia.
Yeah, so I think that maybe, because I didn't realize that the elementary still had the librarian, so that's kind of good to know. We have the resource where they can reach out, any teacher can reach out to the library through their system, but let's work and do a middle school assessment. We only have one high school, right? So we can figure out what their needs are. I know that they just refurb it, like they kind of reorganized and made it more of a study space, I think, than they made it like a real book library type thing. But we could look at the middle schools to say, okay, PHMS has an IA. What does Valley View have, and what does Sequoia Middle have, and start those conversations. So as a commissioner, we can connect folks to say, did you know this is how they're using it? Because Principal Corbin's likely to connect with Principal McCormick to say, how'd you do that? Who pays for that? How's that working, right? And so we can make those connections to say, hey, over here, this is, what they're doing is successful. So I think.
And I can follow up with my middle school. But anecdotally, I can confirm what Patrick was saying about there being movement in the elementary school level. I mean, my kids come home with books constantly every week, and they're very excited about it. I've been in the library at their school. And I can confirm as well that they do rely a lot on the parents to do the checking out and the movement of the books. And it's all very charming and stuff. Yeah, they clearly need the help. So there's probably like a baseline, and then there's like a gap of like, what would we actually want? But yeah, it's interesting. Your comment from earlier was also made me think too, because you're kind of posing the question of, well, how do we even approach the principals in a way that's productive?
Right,
Um,
because we don't always know what we can offer. You know, I mean, even besides this point, right? Because it's like, yes, this is what we do, right? Then we're always like kind of redefining, like, what can we do for you?
mhm.
But insofar also is something that, because there's no money, right? Is that the 9 years that we spent with Valley View, the parents worked in the library, and it was really about gathering volunteers. So people took turns to be able to open the library at lunchtime. Because they had a little bit of help at that time. I mean, my kids haven't been at Valley View for a while, but like in the early morning, maybe they need a book, for a book report, or after school, maybe they had someone that can go do that for a half hour. But lunchtime was really a time where, all the kids, and also it was a place for some of them to go. And that's really how we kind of had to sell it, to the parents. Anybody who can come down here, lunch is not, that long. Take turns, make a calendar, maybe at a PTA meeting, because if parents who go to PTA meetings might come and volunteer in the library, even if you can get it open at lunchtime, twice a week. I think at the time it was that when the librarians had like 2 or 3 schools.
Mhm.
So they were doing 2 days a week here, 2 days a week here. So in order to have all the days open, they needed the parents to come in and do it.
And that's still definitely the case. And it's kind of sad to me because for a librarian to be really effective, right, they want to know every student and where that kid is at, right? They can recommend the right book at the right time based on where that kid is at. And if you really don't, if you're in and out, if you're across all these different schools, like how many kids is that librarian trying to just even learn their names, and that, pales in comparison to kind of the olden times. I remember you had a relationship with your librarian over like all the years that you were at that school, right? And I know that's not anything that we have control over, but I do feel that consistency over time is huge. I know it is just from working in my library, but the reason why the middle school, still has an amazing collection sitting there is because Diana Connor built that collection. When she was the librarian there, she ran the Sequoias together, and it's like the expertise and commitment and dedication of a person who's there for a long time, and builds that collection in response to all the students that she knows. So again, that's one of the hardest things to control. And I think you can still have a library without, it's possible to figure out a formula where you can at least have your doors open and you have a neutral space for kids to hang out and you have, something for them to take and read. It's obviously better if you have, the beating heart of a librarian in there, but yeah, with parents in there, you can build a really community-centered space. I think there's all these different formulations of what a library can be. It doesn't have to be one thing, and every school should figure that out. But I will say the school libraries that seem to be in the best shape are the ones who've had a really committed and consistent presence over time.
Patrick, I know it's not a replacement, but is it possible that, say, Sequoia Middle, for the teachers that are there, can they use this landing page to request your help to just come and have a library day or?
Yeah, no, yeah, we already have some of those kinds of things lined up. We start with some of the classes that are more remedial in nature. And we also do every school year, we start off by visiting the campus and doing our sort of 101 for all the 6th graders, all the incoming 6th graders, because we want them to, one, be invited across the street when they get out of school, but also, that they get a library card if they don't already have one, right? But yeah, no, that's exactly why that landing page is there. And so anybody who wants a visit or wants to come and visit us, we can make that happen. And yeah.
Flyer that says, hey teachers, here's this landing page and here's what would come out of it.
Yeah, I think they just launched the page, and I think I probably do have some graphics. I'll forward it on.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Again, always
Yeah.
drop off. And then
Wouldn't it
Yeah.
be amazing if you had like a slide that the principal could add to their
Mhm.
staff meeting?
Yeah.
So they can just immediately put it into a PowerPoint,
Yeah.
or Google slide, just.
I swear I pressed it.
Yeah.
You saw me press it and it turned green. So just having that and we can send, hey, here's the follow-up email. We came today, talked through this. Here's something that you could add to your staff meeting.
Yeah, absolutely.
That'd be
Yeah.
great. Thank you.
And we're also happy to go to a staff meeting if there's ever room in those agendas. We'd love to answer questions from teachers about, what the library has to offer. Because if we can empower them to share that information, then they're helping me do my job. So.
Thank you. All right. I'm going to move on to the next discussion topic. Patrick, you're welcome to stay for our exciting conversation. Let's talk about e-bikes. We're gonna clap. All right. E-bikes, we've been hearing a lot about e-bikes. They've been in the Outlook, they've been around. And I'm just curious of what I think we know a lot of the challenges that exist, but I was wondering, as a commission, what educational opportunities could we create, involve, connect folks, right? Thinking about our pillars, like any ideas about that? Because our kids are riding their bikes, some of these bikes to school, so they're in the lockers, they're in the bike situations. But the school personnel are not the police to say, hey, that's not an approved bike. Like, you have to be 16 with a license to ride that. So we don't want to put that on them, but so is it really educating kids? Is it educating parents? I had a suggestion, this came up at the PHMS, and someone had suggested in high school, they do like a 1 minute, one day, like a reenactment of someone passing away from drunk driving.
It's like every 60 seconds.
Yes. And so there was a suggestion, like, does anybody know of an e-bike group, right? That's a whole national organization that comes and puts everything on and knows how to create it. Is there something around e-bikes that talks to the kids in a way that talks about some of the dangers or the safety pieces, and a parental component about this is what happens when you buy your kids these bikes?
So you seem like an equivalent to MAD, Mothers Against Drunk Driving.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody knows anything.
I mean, I know people who put it on in Pleasant Hill, they're part of like a group. I think they do it like every other year outside of,
At College
around-
Park.
Yes.
Right, but
So-
is there one for e-bikes?
Well, no, and that's what I would ask, because I'm assuming the program that they've been running maybe didn't have it before, but I don't know if it could have it now. Like, I can reach out to them and ask if they've added that, or if they know how to get, information on
Yeah.
that. But I think obviously educating the kids, but honestly, it's really the parent. I mean, the kids are minors. It's the
Mhm.
parents. It's just like when you had to start wearing a helmet, riding a bike, right? Who's getting the ticket? The child, but also the parent that is not minding their 13-year-old or 12-year-old kids out there that are riding in the streets without a helmet.
I think first we have to get really crisp about the problem, because I remember a couple of meetings ago, there was a pamphlet or something about it. Do you remember that? It was like,
Yeah.
oh, you have it? Yeah, the flyer. I mean,
Yeah.
I would love to rewrite it, because I just don't think it just did not cut to the problem. I think we have to be crisp about the problem. The problem isn't e-bikes, it's e-motorcycles, right?
Mhm. Wow.
So whatever the
But,
term
right,
is, but
yeah.
like, it's the things that go too fast, that it's not like pedal assist bikes. It's the motorcycles that are electric.
I think before kids, we need to educate parents, like what is the appropriate age to give a e-bike. And that also comes with the safety measure. That's what my point is.
Yeah, I think the thing is it's illegal. So I think what we have to do is draft something, send it to the principals, and the principals should send it out to the families, like, as soon as possible.
like that thing condensed?
but better, yes.
But rewritten.
But rewritten. And I'm happy to do that. I'm happy to rewrite that because am seeing him every day. My son wants me to get him one. I tell him it's illegal. He says, no, it's not. I mean, educating the kids, I think, is part of it. But yes, it's parents that are buying them for these children and letting them drive around.
Ultimately, the kids aren't out getting them themselves.
Exactly.
They're
Even
not
I
hiding
saw.
them down the street. This is not a, change into your mini skirt when your parents leave situation. And I think that's everything right now. Honestly, and when you talk about having the principals take it on, it is in theory something that they should, and it is in fact the thing that will just make everybody like, oh, I don't, I see it all the time. Oh, I don't want to have to tell them. Then we're going to have a fight on our hands. They're going to say, that's not my, that's not in your purview. Don't tell me what to do with my child. If I want to do this. And it's like, okay, then where are we going with this? Do we need extra, volunteer security to help Pleasant Hill Police, keep an eye on this? We need hall monitors, for these kids who don't.
I'm less concerned about the enforcement of it at the moment. I think if the principals, I just don't think the parents know. And I think if the principal sent this out, a really crisp description, there are these things called e-motorbikes. You cannot drive one if you're not 16. You will be ticketed. The police will arrest you. You'll be, thrown in jail, whatever. It doesn't have to be overly threatening, but I think as long as it's factual and, poignant, I do think parents would respond because I would if I got that from the school and the school's like, hey, this is a problem. Students are doing this. It's really dangerous. You told me a story from a couple times ago that I still tell my son. It really disturbed me. So I think, this is a little bit of that. What is the driver's ed thing that they make you watch? The horrible red asphalt kind of moment,
So that's something that we can do. So Aaron, are you volunteering?
I volunteer to rewrite that
Okay,
thing.
well, Aaron's gonna get us a more not kid friendly, a more principal capable to send it out in their newsletter. And so that is a great thing that we can do, is an educational opportunity that is just getting the information out there. I think to me, I'm open to other ideas. Like if there's a presentation out there that we could perhaps coordinate with the middle schools or the elementary schools, I just don't know. We're not experts here in this room. Could we advise, if we go talk to our principals, would they say I would love to Pleasant Hill Police Department to do a forum, right? Is that something that we could help connect folks with? So bringing the idea to your schools to say, hey, we're thinking about this. Would you want to invite your parents to something like that? And then we can go to the police department and say, hey, can you give, I don't know, maybe I'm guessing this is a problem for the police because they're putting up things.
Or we can ask 10 minutes of extra slot in PTA instead of having a separate conversation.
I think the PTA meetings there's 10, 12 parents there. It's not going to have the effect of if the principal has a assembly with the police to come and talk about it or something like that, I think would be scaled out. Yes, sir.
Well, two things. Number one, I just looked it up and the every 15 minutes program is done every other year and it focuses only on drunk and impaired driving. So there is no e-cycle or e-bike component to it. So that's probably not a path you would want to try to go down. It's most likely you're ahead of the curve, and at some point in the next few years, there may be programs aimed at that, but right now, I don't think you'd find anything. The second thing is, before you send out your retooled trifold or whatever it is you're going to make, I would coordinate with the police department and make sure that they sign off on everything, because it's not a situation where we want one part of the city to be saying one thing and another part saying something else.
You're right. Fully intended not to just immediately send it to principals, but to get it
You
fact
had a
checked.
lot of forward momentum, so I thought I'd better throw
Fair
that
enough.
I think we can make our own video.
Yeah.
I'm talking a lot of red paint or whatever it is that they use. We're going to scare them straight now.
In our street, there is no bicycle lane, particular specific dedicated one, but still there are e-bikes are going here and there. Just to see them, I feel like, oh my God. And I don't know how they are doing it. And then I see even parents are following them. So
Mr. Weiss, you're here for this topic, right? Is there a clear and measurable distinction between a pedal assist bike and an e-bike?
Yes.
Is it-
yes, yes,
is it-
yes.
I'm on my phone because I have to have information in front of me, so I don't just go off on the tangent.
Thank you.
Again, I'm Steve Weiss. I'm Vice Chair of the Traffic and Safety Commission. We are a resident commission. We make recommendations to the city council. We don't work for the city. And so we understand what the issues are. I'm going to try to hone it more in related to schools as opposed to the whole community, because everybody has an opinion on e-bikes. I've learned that. And there are several classes of e-bikes. There's class 1, which is a pedal assisted e-bike. They go about 15 miles an hour. Those are the ones you see at Costco, and they're very low to the ground. You can fold them up, put them on the BART, those kinds of things. And then you get into higher levels. Then there's a class 2 bike that is pedal assisted, but not really. And that'll get you to about 22 miles an hour. Then you have class C. I think, sir, I think you referred to it as a e-motorcycle. It's not technically an e-motorcycle, but it can get you up to 28 miles an hour. And I live right by Oak Park. I'm by Pleasant Hill Middle, Pleasant Hill Elementary. That's e-bike corridor. Every morning when I take my daughter to College Park High School, I have to go by there. So the thing about the schools and there is no firm state policy for e-bikes. And the question, and you're starting to talk about what do you want to do for the schools? Well, we have questions too, because I'm not aware that the MDUSD has a policy on e-bikes. That's the first thing you need to do, is to come up, is to look at whether you like them or not like them, because there's a lot of people that like them, and I see kids going down Contra Costa Boulevard doing wheelies on them and, all kinds of things. Obviously, that's not legal, but, there's also seems to be a certain level of tolerance for things like that too. My question would be, what's the school district's position on this? Do you allow them to even park those e-bikes on campus, or is it just an informal kind of thing? I don't know about the elementary school at PH, but I'm certain at the middle school, there's e-bikes going over there, and I don't know how they secure them. I don't know that much about them. But I think that's the first thing that needs to be done. What is happening, I don't know. A lot of you are familiar. I was at the Bike Fest. We had a little canopy there. We were next to the police. We weren't affiliated with them, but we had a questionnaire. People filled out questionnaires, and overwhelmingly people were talking about e-bike safety. And yeah, education is super important. But what's happening right now is because it is everywhere. It's all over the news. Southern California's, Orange County is doing a lot of work. Chula Vista, areas like that are doing a lot of work on e-bikes for registering them, educational programs, certain ages based on the e-bike, not allowing e-bikes on campuses and things like that. And that's a value, a school district value that I think needs to be worked on. The big thing though is that the Contra Costa County Transportation Authority, the CCCTA, I think it is, and in concert with the CHP, California Highway Patrol, and the state of California are coming up with guidelines for e-bikes. That's being done as we speak. And you can go probably every day of the week. If you just Google, you'll see that there's going to be a study session, a breakout session regarding e-bikes. What do we do with them? How is it going to work out? What kind of safety measures and those kinds of things. And I'm here because I'm a parent and I care about everything you say. And I don't know if there's a right answer to e-bikes, because e-bikes are here. They're a fabric of our society. Going down Oak Park, people don't speed a lot going down Oak Park, but I've seen some people get hit on e-bikes, especially right near the school. So I think, and it's multi-jurisdictional. Is the school district going to come up with a policy? Because every district is different right now. Some districts, you go out to inland and they'll say, oh, bring them on. We love e-bikes, And then Pleasant Hill, which is I'm not saying it's congested, but it's, people people have to make it, they have, on their way to work, they got to drop their kids off, and you've got some thoroughfares at Oak Park Taylor, and Kiki Drive, all those kinds of places where, you get some conflicts in there. So a lot of it has to deal with what is the school district's position on this? Are they going to come up with some kind of implementation plan? But most definitely, the state of California will be contacting the school district. I'm sure, I don't know exactly who they would talk to. There's probably an operations person with MDUSD or the principal, a main person that's going in the future that's coming down the line. And we as a Traffic and Safety Commission, we're going to side with the regional agencies that have the resources to be able to come up with regulations and permits and whatever else. And we don't want to have a draconian type of approach to things, because that's not what we do as citizens. But if the regulators want to do something like that, that's a whole process that they have to go through. But the first thing is figure out from the district what their policy is on it. That would be my recommendation.
That's great. So what I've written down is like potentially what we can do is educate on what those bikes are, right? So like what is the different types and what are the requirements? So rewriting this article to be a little bit more just parent friendly, kind of quick information, obviously working in conjunction with the police department. And then also I was thinking pillar 3 can maybe make a connection with the police department and say, hey, what are you guys wanting to do about this? If there's an open forum that they would want to have. Also connecting with Diablo Street Smarts, who really helps with the
Yes.
Pleasant Hill Bike Fest, and MDUSD. So maybe our pillar can start looking at those connections. It sounds like we're a little bit ahead of the game, right? Like I'm not ahead, but like the regulations
What it
aren't
is.
aren't there yet. So e-bikes are coming out and our.
Well, there's not a statewide policy.
There's not a statewide.
There's
policy.
some communities that are stronger than the state requirements, but I'm not aware of that in Pleasant Hill
Yeah.
unless there's somebody working in operations at the district that has some other information. So maybe at the school board meeting or something like that, that could be a.
We can ask that. So that's
Good
something that we
discussion.
can do is start the conversation.
Yeah, and we at the commission, we meet on first Tuesdays of every month, and we have Lieutenant Leonard's there from the Pleasant Hill Police Department. We have our Public Works Director, Ann, and it's a good place to make comments and maybe hear, because that's, you're going to see more and more of more discussion on e-bikes and just other things, especially around the schools, that's.
Yeah, and I think, from my understanding with PHMS and College Park is that they are basically providing a place to lock up whatever device you use to come to school. So whether that's roller skates, roller blades, scooters, e-scooters, bikes, whatever it is, that there's not like a policy of like, you can bring this on campus or you can't. It's merely, here's the place to lock it up, make sure that it's, and there's some controlled chaos, I think, of like the going in and out of that locker or that locker area. But there's no like, this is allowed, this is not allowed. So it
Well,
would be nice to.
They're pretty valuable, and they get stolen a lot too.
do.
And people's bikes get stolen at College Park. I hear about that too. So having a registration of policy, because in a sense, the district does take responsibility for everything that's parked there, and so there should be a framework as to how that whole thing's going to be established.
So we can gather some information.
Yeah, I think gathering a lot of information is really important, but the thing that I really wanted to tackle right away, because I was most concerned about, was the e-motorcycle situation, which you do have to be 16. You have to have a license to have. And I see kids on those things all the time, and they don't have pedals. They're just motorcycles.
Yes, sir.
But
Yeah.
they sort of look like bikes.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah, exactly. That, to me, that was the thing that sets alarm that I really wanted. But this whole packet came from the police department. It's got a lot of really good information. I think just needs to be
A different audience. like-
consolidated for a different audience. But
Yeah.
I'd love to come to your guys' meeting and just kind of stay in touch.
Love to have you.
Yeah, that'd be great. Because I don't know why I care so much about this, but it really bothers me. I mean, I have an e-bike. I love my pedal assist. I couldn't keep up with my son without it. But I'm just really concerned. I see these kids on Boyd, on Oak Park, just flying on these things. No
We
helmet.
get a lot of it in the summer months too, because
Yeah.
that's when they can really hang loose and.
And somebody's buying them for them.
I
they're
know
like
elementary school
14.
girl who is like my neighbor, and she has e-bike, so.
Right.
I'm not
And
surprised.
the thing is that, yes, someone's buying them for them. A lot of times we don't want to think that our kids are going to use things incorrectly and unsafely. But when we see these things and we get the ability to address it, that is our village, right? That is us, like, those aren't my kids, but oh my God, something is going to happen. And I can't, and I don't want to think about that, right? Like, that's, essentially what we're saying here is like, we see these kids doing things. They're not, they may have gotten it from their parents, but obviously their parents aren't there. They're probably at work. And this is what we do. We keep an eye out for kids in our neighborhoods, in our community. And we do sometimes have to do things that they don't even know what is the best for them. And this is where we start.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. Thanks
Oh,
for
you're
coming
welcome.
in, Steve.
Any help you need, I'd be happy to assist you.
Thanks.
Thank you for the
Yeah,
opportunity.
we've got some action items that I think we can move forward on. And we'll keep working towards
Something.
something. Yeah. All right, excellent. And then, okay, finally, we're gonna go to the discussion of the Pleasant Hill Magazine Junior Reporter. So we had the presenter, Cynthia came. Thank you, Steve. Cynthia came and presented us a little bit about the Pleasant Hill Magazine. I happened to get one like a few days later. And so I thought I'd bring it with me, and I would just point out that there is a junior reporter message in here. And we can discuss this, and my opinion is that this magazine is going to certain folks, it's limited edition, you can't get it, and that this is enough of a recruitment opportunity for those people that are getting this magazine, and that the Education Commission wouldn't further promote it, is my succinct way of
I agree with-
making a recommendation.
I agree with that. And if it's not provided to an equitable group of people, it doesn't need to have a Education Commission association or endorsement with it. So.
I felt it same way.
Yeah, agreed, for sure, definitely.
Awesome. Great. That was a quick discussion.
I didn't know if there was more information that we wanted to bring forward or anyone did any additional research, but okay, thanks.
Yeah. Okay, great. All right. Commission elections is the next topic on our agenda. The election of a chair and a vice chair. I don't know how to even run the election since I'm in this position. Okay. Let me think about it. So let's just have a discussion. I'm ready to move off as the chair. And I'm hoping somebody wants to come in. I had a brief conversation with Shaheen. So if he would be interested in the chair position, then maybe there's somebody interested in the vice chair position, and we can work on like a pattern of shared.
Succession.
Yes, a succession.
I was not prepared for the advancement in rank. So no, I was not anticipating transitioning into chair.
Is anybody interested in being in the chair position? I can give you a quick description of what it entails.
I was just going to say I was interested perhaps in the vice chair as a starting point for one day. No.
I think a description of what it entails is a good way to start.
A description would be organizing the agenda with the staff liaison and the vice chair, and essentially kind of being a little bit of a central hub. So it's not real burdensome. We have this person coming in will have the strategic plan to interpret however they want to. If they wanted to steer things in a different direction, you also get to lead these meetings, which you all see that I'm a pretty relaxed, jovial chairperson. They're not very formal. I've watched a few other commissions that are much more formal. It's just not my style. And I haven't gotten yelled at yet, so I don't know how anybody else feels about it. And that's essentially it.
When do you like how do some of these things fall on the agenda? Do you proactively go out and find things to bring to the session, like Patrick, or do they reach out to you?
I will tell you, so some of this is from the previous meeting, like, hey, let's continue this. Where did this go? Like, so some of it's just on that. And then like I put on the library thing, and a couple people have chatted with me about different things and said, hey, I have a question about this. And so I was like, let's put it on the agenda. We were trying to do sort of a presentation by somebody every couple of months, right? So the library or the Firecracker 5K, just to try to get us aware of what's going on. So I would organize some of those. And I think the Engage or Connect committee could work on those, either one of those, to say, hey, make these things happen. And then this month, I put this agenda together and Jeff published it, and Patrick reached out and said, hey, the library's on the agenda. I was like, yeah, here's what my intention is. He's like, I'm gonna come. And then the e-bikes was on, so then somebody else came, and Frida comes from the Diversity Commission. So it just kind of unfolds. And then we have there's a lot of this is standard, like the pillars makes it really easy.
Are we taking into account our two commissioners that are not here? Like, are they gonna have a voice if they want to step up into these roles? Okay. Just advocating.
I don't
No
think
one
so.
was beating down my door in the last 2 times I've mentioned this. So Kyle or Ann, yeah. Jeff?
So one thing I just wanted to follow up on what Lindsay said is any of you as commissioners can reach out to the chair and say, I have an idea. I would love to have the commission discuss it and get it on the agenda. That should be an organic part of the process. And then to address the question of the members who aren't here, if this is an agenda item for tonight, if you take a vote tonight, they don't get a choice. I wouldn't recommend voting them in as the new chair without them being here, but you do what you feel you need to do. I'm kidding. I know you wouldn't do that. But if it's something where you feel that you need the entire membership here, then you can always table it for a month. But I haven't been following your attendance, so I have no idea if you routinely have all 11 of you here, or if it's usually somewhere in the 8 to 9 range. So at some point, you just need to bite the bullet and make the vote. So, and Lindsay has, she's pretty well spelled it out. It's not a really, difficult job to do in the perspective of time. I think Lindsay puts more time into it because she's very passionate about some of the things that she gets involved with. So, and you might find that, if you become the chair, that if there's something that you're really involved with and really passionate about, maybe you might put more time in. But really, it's all about getting the meetings on the books and then running the meetings and making sure that there is a hub for everybody to communicate with. And it's usually the chair and the staff liaison.
I mean, if Shaheen really isn't trying to move up and let me be his, and let me try for a vice chair,
Love that idea.
that you move up and then
that
I
I
try
move
to,
up?
and then I try out for the vice chair.
I think that would be a great idea. I would definitely nominate Vice Chair Shaheen and Stephanie to take chair and vice chair positions. Yes.
I'll second that.
And just a reminder,
He's like, wait.
I got nominated day one. Like
You
when I
did.
came here.
And you did a great job as a vice chair.
They're like, oh, you're new, and this is the one position we have left. So if you really want to come, then you have to be vice chair. All I can say is that, like I said, I just feel like stepping into one and then the other, right? Just makes sense. And that, everybody's here to support.
Don't think I stepped into vice chair. I think it was Dave was leaving and I'm like, I'll do it. And so I don't think I had the stepping stone. If that gives you pause or confidence, I'm not certain. But yeah, I mean, yes, it's open. So is anybody else interested in vice chair or the chair position that wants to say like, hey, I'm interested, and then we can just take a vote?
When is this transition? When would this be? Today?
Today.
I'm not. Yeah, so I would be interested in doing this,
He's like,
but I can't.
That was
like,
that answer.
It's part of it's like maybe in the future, but not
Sure.
now.
The next chair will get to decide when elections happen. They happen somewhere July, August, September, I
In a
think.
month. I'm gonna do it every month.
And also, I think I am here initially until April 27, I believe is mine, so could be then, no?
Yeah.
Or, yeah.
Okay. We have a motion and a second for Chair Canuli and Vice Chair Shkar. Oh, that's not the motion on the table. So I'm gonna call for a vote, yeah? All those in favor?
Too late.
All those in favor of, what, you're feeling bad?
No,
Do you-
this
do you
is
wanna
how it
give up your-
goes.
Do you want to give up Vice Chair?
Leadership is thrust upon you.
Giving up vice chair.
You don't want to be chair.
I wasn't anticipating being chair.
Does anybody else want to be vice chair? Thinking of the future. Shaheen, would you like to describe very quickly what the vice chair does?
I fill in when you're not here. Sorry. I fill in when you're not here.
Yeah.
And just look over with the proposal for the agenda and so forth, and just kind of give little bits of feedback. But yeah, it's there's not too much to it.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Is anybody interested in the vice chair? Yeah, you, Aaron?
I
Aaron?
know I've been here a long time. I do want to do it someday. My life is pure chaos right now.
Okay.
Just pure chaos, but someday.
Okay, someday you can weasel your way in. Okay, so the motion stands and the vote will be on Chair Canuli and Vice Chair Shakar. All,
May I ask who seconded?
Tara. Aaron motioned and Tara seconded. You did, right? Okay, yes. Yes, okay. I was like, I didn't imagine that.
This is,
Okay.
don't feel bad. This is how George
Don't feel bad.
Washington
Don't feel
became,
bad. feel
became the
bad.
general.
So we're gonna do it.
Yeah. Okay, all those in favor, say aye. Stephanie, potential chair and vice chair, we're voting. The vote is happening. It's happening. Yes, ready? So is all those in favor of the new leadership of the Education Commission, say aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, congratulations. All right, you can take over the rest of the meeting. No, I'm just kidding. I'll finish this meeting. And Stephanie, I'm here also until April 2027, so I'm always happy to help you. Okay, awesome. I'm gonna take a new seat.
Just as an aside, when I go home and tell my friends, they're gonna be like, you really can't go anywhere and not end up in charge of something again.
That's how I felt. Yep. So, okay, great.
I'm just like, never said chair, but I think you're right. Yeah, exactly.
You're good. It's all done. Motion passed. Okay. The next thing on the agenda is the article for the Outlook newsletter, and Aaron,
I wrote that already.
yes,
Yeah.
I think that went to you, Jeff, right?
Is
Yeah.
it good?
We're good.
Okay.
It's just a recap of our thing.
Thing. Yep.
Our thing, which is on number 11, where our Education Commission annual report is what it is. Okay, so that's done. Strategic plan pillars. Any meetings happen? Anybody want to report? Pillar 1.
Pillar 1 did not meet.
Okay, pillar 2.
We also failed to meet. The month goes by so fast.
know,
It's
it
like,
really
how
does.
would we hear over the?
Pillar 3. We also failed to meet. I have some, yeah, we can meet briefly. I do want to,
Sorry, I think we should, if not physically we are meeting, then we should have a like e-meeting or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we just.
Yeah, we are just, yeah.
so maybe the new chair wants to say, hey, someone needs to be the chair of that pillar and call the meeting and see who can come. So we can,
Yes.
yes, we've had we had some good times. Now we're having some like dry times. So maybe we can get that up.
We're doing stuff.
We are.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did want to bring to this strategic pillar number 2 group is that one of the city council members actually reached out to me and said that they are happy to be invited to attend any events at their local schools. And so I thought that and I was like, the calendar did not get approved, but the city council member said, go old school and like basically put a flyer into their box here at the city. So I wanted to engage the pillar 2 to say, hey, this is something that we could talk, we could more formalize whether or not that is even just getting it out to the principals that, hey, the city council members are happy to come to your public events. If they have an invitation, you just have to get it to the city office and this person made there seem like there's like a mailbox. I was thinking of a teacher mailbox that you can basically like slide a flyer in. Is that?
Yeah.
You would most likely just reach out to Juanita and Lyone. They are in charge of the city council calendar.
Okay.
So we do put them into the biweekly Pleasant Hill update
Right.
as events now. So
Yep.
not just news, but events also. So
Yep.
I don't know, maybe they get that.
And I will focus their attention back on that. Although
Okay.
I wanted to say, hey, if you guys talk to your schools and
yeah.
they're like, what else can you do for me? Hey, we can help facilitate an invitation of your city council member to come to our auction, to come to our
Yeah, that's actually,
county,
like the
our
gala or something.
play
Yeah.
or our art day or whatever, like the city council, at least this commissioner, the council member that reached out to me was like, I'd love to be invited. I was like, oh, this is the first time I've heard that. So that's kind of cool. So I just wanted to let
Yeah.
pillar 2 know about that and y'all can decide what might happen from there. So, okay, so we're committing to meeting. We're committing to meeting as pillars in the next month. And even just coming with an idea or something to do that we want to do. I have stuff for you guys. Okay, moving on to number 11, Education Commission Annual Report to the City Council. Recap. Aaron.
Well, I realized they didn't video record it. It's only audio on the YouTube thing. I know. I was kind
Dude,
of.
I look so good.
You can't see
I
the
didn't take the
quilt.
lens cap off. That's.
The city's equipment malfunctioned. And so, yes, that meeting was audio only, and so was the planning commission meeting that was held the next night. So, but it should be back working now.
Yes. But I know, right? Well, we brought the quilt.
We did.
And that was great. I thought that the meeting went very well. The city council, very interested in what we're doing, very engaged, had a lot of questions. And it was great because Mayor Noack was there and she had just, I think, written the letters that she's sending to all the schools or was about to or something. So it was great to make a little connection there. But I think they want to be involved. So as you just said, so I that's kind of what my takeaway was from it.
Yeah, so this is my to-do list for the Connect group. And I was like, connect with Andre regarding this, connect with Belle regarding this, connect. So there was a lot of connections made even after the presentation. I think it was a little bit of like, we want to do this at least once a year because it gets us in front of them. I also would love to talk a little bit more to the city council. Maybe Stephanie, you want to do this, or maybe you want to put the Connect pillar in charge of this, is that what did they want from us, right? We, like, this should be like a mutual thing where they're engaging the commission and the commission is engaging them and we're working together. So that's, it's a start. We have new city council members that were like, kind of like, what do you do? Oh, okay, like, and they're still getting their feet under them. But there was it was fun to be able to present it. And I think a couple city council members finished squares on the quilts, and it's with Leon now. She has the quilts. Just so you know.
What are the dimensions of the quilt, just out of curiosity?
This 6x6. 5x5, some 6x6.
I don't think it was 6 feet. Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's,
I think it was 6 feet in width, but I think the length may have been 5, but 6 feet.
something like that. Yeah. The stand and the quilts are with Leon now, just, it's at the city. So, but it's cool. It was cool to present that. I'm sorry that our technical errors didn't allow for our beautiful faces. So, any questions about the city council presentation? That would also fall
That's
under,
our presenters.
yay, thank you.
Yeah.
You can lead that next year. I just attended, Aaron offered to do it and I attended as a chair. Buyer's remorse, yeah. Oh, by the way.
But they're like, oh, so that's the case.
Aaron created the whole presentation and I just helped present.
It'll end up here, it was a waste of an hour.
I know.
You know, they made a lot of jokes about my height that make no sense on the audio only.
Also describing the quilt is just
Right.
not gonna land very
No.
well. It's a very visual thing. You both were great. So, yeah, it was fun. It was fun to watch.
Okay. Reports and announcements. Just kind of do a quick go around. That Stephanie, anything?
No, the beginning, just starting out. A relationship with Hidden Valley, so.
I will connect with you afterwards because Belle has a good connection with Hidden Valley, the new city council member. So she
Okay.
had kids that went there or something. So
I mean,
she's,
my kid, but that was so long ago. I'm sure nobody there is still there.
Shaheen. Okay. Sarah?
I finally just met with my principal, Katie Kuntz, on Monday. So that was great. Just introduction. Yay. And she was so receptive. So I just look forward to what I can do for her. That is, which I appreciate Stephanie's insistence on when we speak to them, let's have actually something to offer them, which I love that idea. So, but yes, finally got it.
Jeannie? No, nothing? One thing I forgot, we talked about next month, putting it on the agenda is potentially switching schools. So Shaheen is likely going to move to PHMS and I will come take over Strandwood, but that will be action item.
Can I take Strandwood?
Sure.
Thank
Maybe
you so
want me to
much.
take Fair Oaks?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll put that on the agenda for official vote
Yeah.
next month. Next
I was like,
month.
this is what happened last time. Everyone's like, it was gonna be one simple and then it turned into a 7-way trade. I'm like,
Sure. But anyway, there's some switching. Sure, I don't,
No, that's great.
yeah, it's great. Awesome, cool. That's it. That's all I have. I forgot to put that on the agenda. See, we make mistakes.
I forgot to share last time, it took us 6 years. We finally got a shade structure and playground improvements at Sequoia Elementary. And the Parents Association, we put in about $100,000 of our money, but the district met us. I actually don't know how much they spent on it, but they did they'd repaving this whole area. They put new concrete under the solar panels to create shade area, and did a lot of playground improvements. So I just want to offer, if any of your schools want to do something similar, we've blazed a trail on how to do that. It's not easy, but MDUSD does seem, for some reason, suddenly kind of more receptive to helping with this, and we know we can just connect them with the right people, especially if you have a PTA who's willing to chip in. It seems like that was kind of a key for them, but they did put a lot into the school. So, and the school needed it very badly. We've been talking about shade structure for years. I don't even know, Jeannie, if you remember that discussion we had like 4 years ago about it, but at least at Sequoia Elementary, there was no shade. The kids were just out there baking all day, every day for years and years and years. And, they probably still will because they're kids and like run around, but now at least they have an option.
I appreciate the letters being sent. So that was the impetus to get in touch with my school. And even though I just sent like my intro email, it adds a lot of credibility to it. I'm curious for any other commissioners that just recently met with their principal. Are there any tips for like what to do the first time? Because I have like a whole list of things I can talk with them about, but I don't want to just like barrage them with a bunch of things that they have not been thinking about and like are suddenly their problem. So if there's a way to ease into that.
Jeannie's got a great idea that I used
Oh.
twice.
Awesome. Yes.
You go to the Dollar Tree store and buy a big bucket. Then you go to Safeway or Trader Joe's or Target or even to the Dollar Tree and you buy all kinds of goodies for the front office because they're the ones who work the hardest. I really mean this, only because I was a past school site administrator. So I know how much they appreciate it when parents bring goodies to them. And it's not for the teachers. It's for the front office. Or you can just buy them a thing of donuts and coffee, whatever you want. They like the bucket idea. And they stash it and they eat it throughout the year. So,
Just filled with candy.
and I do candy. I do like trail mix, all kinds of goodies. I do healthy stuff and I do junk food.
Supplies too.
Oh,
Like
yeah,
any
supplies.
pencil, like pre-sharpened pencils you can throw
Yeah.
in there.
So anything like that, and just give it to them and they'll really appreciate it and they'll remember you for the rest of your life. And when you walk into the office, they'll greet you with a smile. And so you really want to do that. And then you introduce yourself to the principal. That's how you begin.
And then I think having one point and one
Right.
flyer that you're gonna like have as a
Right.
lead behind. That's why I asked the librarian when I had the firecracker 4K flyer, it was a nice, hey, here's what's going on. You're gonna get a check. Right? Just having one thing.
One
I
thing,
know we
right.
have a whole list of all the things we want to chat about. Telling them who you are, how you can help. Here's one thing. How can I help you? Anything top of mind? And if they're like, I don't know what else,
Right.
you can then rattle off a couple other ways you could
I
support.
agree with you. And the other thing is, principals don't have time. I really want to emphasize that. They don't have the time, so make it good.
That's why I asked. I spent a
Okay.
lot of time in the front office when I was growing up because my mom's an administrator. So,
Okay, so you get
I
it.
get that. She had a big bucket of red vines.
Oh,
And
yeah,
So she used that to, get the kids to come in
Right.
and talk with her and like
right.
tell her where all the
Right,
bad stuff was
yeah,
happening.
yeah.
So that was her way of bribing
Right.
them. But yeah, no, I get it.
So,
Thanks.
And then I think timing too is really
Yes.
key, right? Like
yeah,
try not to go during any lunch times because they are on lunch duty and needing to support. Drop off and pick up are also absolute chaos. If you can stay a little after, they might have a meeting. So it's just like finding the key
Right.
moment of silence in the morning, which is usually like an hour after drop,
right.
or an hour after lunch. But like the timing is very key.
Or you might want to ask the office manager, can I make an appointment with the principal? And can you just let me know when would be a good time? And then they'll do it for you. And so that you can go at a time where the principal will give you full face attention. Okay? Mhm.
Yeah. Pooja, anything for you?
Yes, so I met with the principal again, the Park High School, and we are initiating robotic classes which we have discussed last month. And now the student has officially my email, and I'm linking them with the different hackathons are going on. So I'm connecting them with that. And if that goes successful, then I'm gonna ask you middle schoolers to join that too.
Nice.
So give me a 6 month. We just started from this month. Let's see how things goes. The second thing we talked about the advanced classes, because many students are unaware like how to sign up for the advanced classes since DVC is across the road. So we are in a talk with the principal and the teachers and the vice principal, and I am working on that to make it aware with the parents and the student what they're deciding about their future, what they're thinking, how we can help them. Because I remember as a ninth grader or 10th or 11th, 12th, that I had no idea. Sometime I wanted to be a doctor. At some point, I wanted to be a lawyer. Both are in a different direction. So I'm just trying to show them a way. And for many students, like again, I talked about it, like it's not possible to continue for the studies after 12th. Different people have a different options, right? So again, we are connecting them with a different program introduced by state or the companies where they get training and get paid just to attend a class and learn, and they also help them to get a livelihood. So we are working on these three major area. So in 6 months, hopefully we will get some good result, and I'll come up with yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Thank you,
thank you.
Pooja. Kara?
I haven't met with them, but I had, during the whole Juneteenth ideas, I also had my security idea, but Juneteenth got, took my whole brain. So I want to go back to my security idea. I have a pretty close relationship with Mayor Novak, and I want to send a letter regarding our open campuses, because as you had asked, like, was it just Fair Oaks or is it more? And it is most, if not all, that have, we have open campuses without any security of ways to get in and out. Like, there needs to be a buzzer, there needs to be ways for us to lock the gates. So I'm gonna get that letter done and sent this month.
You're sending it to NOAC?
Yeah.
Okay.
You love that idea or hate that idea?
Well, no, I don't love or hate it. I just don't, I'm wondering, is this a
call to action in a way?
Kayla thing or a education commission thing?
I would like it to be an education commission
So
thing.
then we should probably bring it here, like, hey, this is kind of what we're, does that make sense? Like,
Deal, bring the letter here.
Yeah.
And then have everyone review.
yeah,
Okay.
so that it feels more cohesive and comprehensive, because anyway, that would be
That we
my
can all sign off on it.
so that we can, yeah, so we have like an idea of what's happening, if that's not just like you.
Got it.
You can do what you need to do on the side, but like, if you want it as a commission, we have to all be involved in
Okay.
some way.
Okay.
I think, and I like that idea because I think, are there any closed campuses in Mount Diablo? I mean, I don't know of any.
No, I talked to the high school principal and he said, no, if we does that, then we are creating some kind of boundaries that
Right.
it's not acceptable for everyone. So I don't think
Right.
so we should do
Right.
that.
So like, I mean, Mr. Weiss, I was ready to jump on this whole e-bike thing, writing the letter or whatever, what you're going to do. And I thought it was a great idea until he brought up the school district. You have to find out what the school district policy is. So I'm wondering if we have to work through the school district
We
first
definitely do.
and not overstep our boundary
So-
as an education commission.
Yeah, the
group.
school district with Fair Oaks had promised Fair Oaks for, I think, the past 3 years that it was going to happen.
So once again, do we go to the school district to find out?
What would happen?
That, like, so at a gate, right, there should be a buzzer with a camera so that the front office can buzz in. So once the school is like right after arrival, the school should be able to be closed, so it's not people coming in and out on and off campus.
And what was the letter you wanted to write to Mayor Nowak?
A call to action of, hey, here, and I wouldn't want to get testimony, like there's going to be a lot I need to do and research into this, right? Like, what is MDUSD doing? What are they not doing? How can the mayor, Pleasant Hill, support and push this forward for at least our Pleasant Hill schools to get this done?
So I just emailed, like, while I was sitting here waiting for this meeting to start, to ask, so the city council has two people on a committee, education committee, I think is what it's called, that works more closely with MDUSD. And so we can work with them to create something to bring in MDUSD. It sounds like we might need to have a we might want to bring in some kind of a conversation where the city council members, some of the education commission comes in, like we might want to bring people together to say, hey, what are you doing? What's your plan? What's the timelines? What's happening here? To add a little pressure. We do also have to be careful. MDUSD, when Pleasant Hill raises a stink, we sometimes get called bad names. Because we're a little bit of an entitled city who wants all these extra things. So we have to maneuver that in a careful way. So just so you know that part, but bringing, like, getting testimony, figuring that out, writing a letter that we can then say, hey, city council, because they can get their pull as city council members, they can kind of pull in some of the MDUSD leaders because they have a little bit more pull than us measly citizens.
Also, usually the school site council, I think, has budget that, I remember discussing this on Sequoia School Site Council. And ask the district to give the school site budget to build the fences and such. So it's a tricky one because I'm not sure what, there's a moving parts. I'm just not sure what the city can do other than just be kind of a bully pulpit, which maybe will help, but.
So we can provide that we can provide that and provide that meeting and those conversations, and we should get Fair Oaks, that's a good way to get them engaged. So let's take it in a strategic way. So I love your passion. Yes. Let's figure out how to make it.
And this has come up every time there's like a thing, but actually the staff has said they have issues with things like cameras because now they're expected to know what every single parent looks like. And I can tell you at our level and the amount of kids we do have buzzers, we do have cameras, and we only have like 40 families. And still sometimes we're like, oh yeah, So you're talking about a school with like hundreds of kids, hundreds of families, and the staff being responsible to know who that really is. Hi, I'm, Billy's mom. And they're like, okay, because now before they could just walk in, which is not okay. But now if you let the wrong person in, it's one person's fault. And that's a lot of responsibility to put on the workers. And that's why this has been kind of squashed in the past. It's come up at different schools. It's come up in cities and counties and whatever, because nobody really wants to take on that, or nobody wants to be the buzzard person.
Yep.
Nobody, I mean, of course they want more safety and there's things that you can do, but the person at the front, and what happens when the regular person isn't there? What happens when you get a sub-secretary or a sub-office manager? There was so many things. And like I said, the people in the office were like, no.
So that's where I'm thinking if we have a conversation, right? To say, hey, MDUSD, what's happening? What can we do to support? What do you need from us? So we kind of have a comprehensive a conversation. But I think having a letter with some feelings, getting Sue, and she usually sits on the education committee, I think is what she calls it, with another member, and to say, hey, can we get MDUSD to come to one of these meetings? Like a separate meeting or whatever, that we then have a conversation. What's the plan? What does your 5-year plan look like? What are your thoughts? What do you know? So that we can get the perspective. We have decided X, Y, and Z, or here's our plan. And then we can hold them to their plan versus saying like, we know what's best when there's a lot of different things happening. So. Okay. Homework, you got some homework.
I got it, Bob.
All right. Okay, I think we're adjourning. I call this meeting adjourned at 8:28.
Feeling traffic.
All right. Pillar 3, you want to meet